And where are you going? What do you want?
Hello and welcome to this special edition of the Way to Wow shows in honor of Christmas and Christmas Eve, which is today. I'm your host, Kevin Bemel, and this is part of a series of periodic episodes I do on various national holidays. So this will wrap up this year. This indeed will be my last broadcast for 2025. And I want to start out by thanking you, my viewers, for joining me this year. Some of you join live, others watch on YouTube or various other platforms. I've been very fortunate this year. My audience has grown from a few hundred to over 1,600. Or my subscribers, I should say, and I've had a lot of wonderful guests. We've had terrific conversations, and I hope that I've shared some ideas with you, and my guests have shared ideas with you that have made your life better, more enjoyable. Maybe you had a tipple or two with me at Jiggers's place, where we have a cocktail and a schmooze every other Thursday. But this is a good time of year to reflect back and spend some time focusing on gratitude, not just in the business arena, of course, but for family, for friends, and for all of the wonderful blessings that we all enjoy. So, as has been my practice for the last, I think, couple of years, I talk a little bit about Christmas from the Jewish perspective, because that's what I am, and then I'm going to read the wonderful poem, "A Visit from St. Nicholas." And then we'll sign off for the year. So, as you probably know, Jews don't celebrate Christmas, but many of us kind of revel in the atmosphere of this time of year. People seem to be more relaxed, happier, in a festive mood. And that I think benefits to everyone in our society, whether they're celebrating Christmas or not. In past years, I've generally wished people a Merry Christmas, because it is the most important holiday going on at this time of year. Christmas to Christians is a much more important celebration and holiday than, for example, Hanukkah is to Jews. In Judaism, we have festivals which traditionally meant they were observed like the Sabbath, where from sundown of the day before the holiday until sundown of the second day of the holiday, basically, there are all kinds of prohibitions on activities. We don't drive in cars. We don't adjust electronic devices, and other things like that. Hanukkah does not have those restrictions. It's a wonderful celebration. I was at a Hanukkah party last week at a friends of mine's home, a husband and wife that I've known for many, many, many years. And it's always a pleasure to go there and kind of reconnect with people that typically I only see that one time a year. But Hanukkah is not a biblical festival like Passover or Sukkot or Shavuos, or for that matter, Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur. All of those are mentioned in the Torah, the first 5 books of the Hebrew Bible, but Hanukkah is not. And whereas Christmas and Easter, as I understand, and I'm no Christian theologian, but as I understand, are perhaps the 2 most central days to Christianity, celebrating the life of, well, on the one hand, the birth of Jesus, Christmas, and then his resurrection on Easter. So this year, I started wishing people the joy of the season. It sounds a little old-fashioned, I suppose, but those of you who watch the show know me, and I have a bit of an old-fashioned bent to me. I'm, after all, one of the last people wearing a tie every time you see me. And this particular tie is close to 100 years old. I got it from my great uncle, and so it's it's kind of a universal greeting, and I think for me, something more meaningful than Happy Holidays. Happy Holidays seems a little bit sterile to me, frankly, whereas the joy of the season, it seems to sort of measure out the joy that comes from at this time of year in from the various holidays that are happening. So beyond that, I think that I know many of my Jewish friends listen to Christmas music this time of year. I do. I started the day after Thanksgiving. I'm earlier this year, or I should say earlier this month, I worked on a project with my longtime producing partner, Rick Carter, and I picked him up in the morning, and he got in the car. He's calling like, "Why are you playing Christmas music?" I said, well, it's beautiful music, And, he didn't mind it. He was just kind of perplexed. So, but also wonderful movies. I took some colleagues to see the original version of The Shop Around the Corner with Jimmy Stewart and Margaret O'Brien, I believe, is the actress in the movie. And we had a little sort of holiday cheer afterwards. We went to a pub down the street, and I intended to go to a lot of other movies that are playing at a wonderful theater in El Segundo called the Old Time Music Hall. I had hoped to see Christmas in Connecticut and It's a Wonderful Life. Unfortunately, I was sick for a good part of this month, and so couldn't get out there. But perhaps next year. And I went and saw the Nutcracker Ballet by the Los Angeles Ballet. It was a beautiful performance, and perhaps the best part was seeing all the parents there with especially young children, and noticing the rapt attention these children paid to watching the beautiful dancing that was going on. I don't recall the first time I saw the Nutcracker, although I'm pretty sure I was a child or perhaps maybe a young teenager. And I've taken my daughter to see it, and again, it's a lovely cultural event that happens around this time of year. I was not the only Jewish person there, I assure you, because several came up to me because I wear a yarmulke, so they knew I was Jewish, and we chatted. The lady behind me was Jewish, and we were talking, etc. So, it's just I think it's a time of year of warmth. I was chatting with my sister Marla yesterday, and she said, what are you up to lately? I said, well, I'm watching a lot of Christmas movies. I think they're all originally made for Hallmark and Lifetime networks, but there's something very charming about them. Most of them are kind of, boy meets girl movie, or boy reconnects with, sort of high school sweetheart movies, that kind of thing. They're very charming. They remind me of Disney movies when I was a child, and they're lovely to watch, and they have a lot of heart. So I don't find that in much of popular culture these days. So, like I said, just kind of my reflections on this time of year. I hope you've been enjoying it. Hopefully, you've gone to a party or two and been able to spend some extra time with family and friends. Among my colleagues, we've started reminding each other that we work to live. We don't live to work. And while we work hard, and sometimes we work long hours, the point is not to live to work hard and work long hours. The point is to work hard and sometimes work long hours so that we can live. We can enjoy time with our families, our loved ones. We can spend time with people in our communities, and we can enjoy the sort of annual cycle of life, the larger cycle of life, the events, the births and birthdays and anniversaries of life, and also be there during the difficult times of life, the losses and such. And so, again, if I could leave you with one thought for this year, it would be that I hope that you are working to live and not the opposite. And would love to hear your thoughts about this time of year, this season of joy. All of my social media links will be in the show notes to this episode when it posts on YouTube, and feel free to share them with me. If there's something private you want to share, my email address will be in the show notes as well. And without further ado, as we say, I'm going to read a visit from St. Nicholas. So just as a little bit of background, so this lovely poem was written by Clement Clark Moore, who was born in New York City in 1779. He was the son of Benjamin Moore, a prominent Episcopalian bishop. As far as I know, no connection to the paint company. He graduated from what was then Columbia College, is now Columbia University, in 1798. He was a professor of Oriental and Greek literature, as well as biblical learning at the General Theological Seminary in New York, a school for which he donated the land. Moore's famous poem, A Visit from St. Nicholas, commonly known as 'Twas the Night Before Christmas, was written in 1823. So it's over 200 years old now. It was initially published anonymously, and it became a holiday classic, largely shaping the modern image of Santa Claus. So Clement Moore lived much of his life in Manhattan's Chelsea neighborhood, where he contributed to the area's development. And he passed away in Newport, Rhode Island, the location of a large naval training facility. He passed away in 1863, just around the time of the American Civil War. So, A Visit from St. Nicholas. 'Twas the night before Christmas, when all through the house not a creature was stirring, not even a mouse. The stockings were hung by the chimney with care, in hopes that St. Nicholas soon would be there. The children were nestled all snug in their beds, while visions of sugar plums danced in their heads. And Mamma in her kerchief, and I in my cap, had just settled our brains for a long winter's nap. When out on the lawn there arose such a clatter, I sprang from my bed to see what was the matter. Away to the window I flew like a flash, tore open the shutters, and threw up the sash. The moon on the breast of the new-fallen snow gave a luster of midday to the objects below. When what to my wondering eyes did appear but a miniature sleigh and 8 tiny reindeer, with a little old driver so lively and quick, I knew in a moment he must be Saint Nick. More rapid than eagles his coursers they came, and he whistled and shouted and called them by name. Now Dasher, now Dancer, now Prancer and Vixen, on Comet, on Cupid, on Donner and Blitzen. To the top of the porch, to the top of the wall, now dash away, dash away all. As leaves that before the wild hurricane fly, when they meet with an obstacle, mount to the sky. So up to the housetop the coursers they flew, with a sleigh full of toys, and St. Nicholas too. And then, in a twinkling, I heard on the roof the prancing and pawing of each little hoof. As I drew in my head and was turning around, down the chimney St. Nicholas came with a bound. He was dressed all in fur from his head to his foot, and his clothes were all tarnished with ashes and soot. A bundle of toys he had flung on his back, and he looked like a peddler just opening his pack. His eyes, how they twinkled, his dimples, how merry. His cheeks were like roses, his nose like a cherry. His droll little mouth was drawn up like a bow, and the beard on his chin was as white as the snow. The stump of a pipe he held tight in his teeth, and the smoke it encircled his head like a wreath. He had a broad face and a little round belly that shook when he laughed like a bowl full of jelly. He was chubby and plump, a right jolly old elf, and I laughed when I saw him in spite of myself. A wink of his eye and a twist of his head soon gave me to know I had nothing to dread. He spoke not a word, but went straight to his work and filled all the stockings, then turned with a jerk, and laying his finger aside of his nose and giving a nod, up the chimney he rose. He sprang to his sleigh, to his team gave a whistle, and away they all flew like the down of a thistle. But I heard him exclaim, ere he drove out of sight, "Happy Christmas to all, and to all a good night." Such a beautiful little poem expressing the heart of the holiday and this time of year. So it always kind of chokes me up a little bit. I really appreciate you joining me for this last broadcast of the year. These times especially are precious to me. And I wish you, for those of you who are celebrating, a very, very happy Christmas and a new year of good health, happiness, prosperity. And I look forward to seeing you again in the new year, 2026. Just remember, Marie, darling, you are my bell. Courage at all times, my friend.